Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever noticed that some people are always happy to take from you but disappear when it's time to give back? They'll smile, nod, and act like they care, but once they get what they want, they're gone. It feels like you've opened your heart and hands only to find them closed off. That kind of treatment hurts, especially when you're a giving person. You want to trust to help to lift others up. But sometimes that kindness is taken advantage of. So ask yourself, how much of yourself have you given to people who don't truly see your worth? How often have you poured out your time and energy only to feel empty afterward? This is your wake-up call. It's time to set boundaries, understand your own value, and stop letting people treat you like an option. This is about recognizing the power you bring, seeing your worth, and not settling for anyone who can't appreciate it. You're worth more than being someone's convenience. This isn't about being selfish, it's about self-respect. We live in a world where people often take without giving back, sometimes without realizing it. They come to you with their problems, and soon you're carrying their burdens. While helping others is a good thing, it's just as important to know when you're being used. Our natural instinct is to support and lift others up. But what happens when that giving is only one-sided? What happens when your kindness is taken for granted? You feel drained and lose focus on your own needs. That's when you need to draw the line. Think about it. How many times have you given your time and to someone who barely appreciated it? That's not okay because you are valuable. Your time and energy are precious. This isn't about being selfish. It's about valuing yourself. It's about knowing your worth and not letting others define all about yourself. You hold the pen to your life and only you decide what happens next. Some people only want to dim your light. They could be friends, family, or colleagues. You need to recognize when someone is draining your energy without giving any back. These people will take as much as they can, but when you need something, they're nowhere to be found. Do you really want those people in your life? You deserve better. You deserve relationships that lift you up, that inspire you, and that encourage you to be your best. Surround yourself with people who recognize your worth and appreciate what you bring to their lives. These people will be there to celebrate your successes and support you through tough times. Not everyone will be like that. Some people only care about themselves. They'll use you as long as it benefits them, then move on without a second thought. You need to be strong enough to let those people go, even when it's hard. Sometimes they're people you've known for a long time, even family. But your mental and emotional health are too important to sacrifice for anyone. Protect your peace in your heart. Many of us are afraid to say no because we don't want to disappoint others. But saying no is one of the best things you can do for yourself. It doesn't make you a bad person. It makes you someone who values their time, energy, and happiness. If someone can't respect your boundaries, they're not really respecting you. You deserve relationships based on mutual respect. People who care about you will understand when you need space and will be there for you. Not just when it's convenient for them, but when you genuinely need support. Remember, you're often the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So ask yourself, are the people around you lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they helping you grow or holding you back? You don't need people who only come around when they need something. Surround yourself with those who add to your life, not those who take from it. You deserve consistency, loyalty, and real care. You deserve people who see you for who you are, who value what you bring, who appreciate your presence in their life. But here's the truth. If you don't stand up for yourself, if you don't set those boundaries, no one else is going to do it for you. People will take as much as you're willing to give. And if you don't put a stop to it, they'll keep coming back for more. This is why it's so important to know your worth. Because when you know what you bring to the table, you won't let anyone treat you like you're disposable. People will try to convince you that you're obligated to give. They'll make you feel like you owe them something just because they're in your life. But you don't owe anyone anything, not if it's going to cost you your peace, your happiness, your self-worth. The only person you owe something to is yourself. You owe it to yourself to be in environments that respect and nurture you. You owe it to yourself to have relationships that pour into you just as much as you pour into them. It's like this. When you're on an airplane, they tell you to put your oxygen mask on first before helping others. Why? Because if you're not okay, you can't be of any help to anyone else. The same goes for life. If you're drained, if you're exhausted from constantly giving and never receiving, you're not going to have the energy to be the best version of yourself. You're not going to have the strength to pursue your dreams, to go after what you want. And that's a tragedy because the world needs what you have to offer. But it needs you whole, not broken by people who don't value you. Look, I'm not saying you should shut everyone out. I'm saying you have to be wise about who you let in. Pay attention to who's clapping for you when you're winning and who's nowhere to be found when you're struggling. Those who are truly in your corner will be there for both. They'll be there to celebrate with you. And they'll be there to pick you up when you fall. But those who are only there for the good times, who disappear when the going gets tough, those are the people you need to let go. Life is too short to spend it giving yourself to people who don't deserve you. It's too short to keep making excuses for people who show you time and time again that they don't value you. And I know that can be hard to accept. I know we sometimes hold on to people out of habit, out of loyalty, out of hope that they'll change. But at some point, you have to realize that holding on to people who drain you isn't loyalty, it's self-destruction. And you've got to ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to live? Do you want to live a life where you're constantly giving to people who don't give back? Or do you want to live a life where you're surrounded by people who uplift you, who inspire you, who encourage you to be your best self? I think you know the answer to that. And it starts with making a choice. It starts with deciding that you are worth more than being somebody's convenience. You have one life to live, one life to make the most of the gifts and talents you've been given. Don't waste it on people who only see you as a means to an end. Surround yourself with people who see you as a person, who see your value, who respect you for who you are. Because when you do that, when you choose to protect your peace, to honor your worth, you start living a life that's fulfilling, a life that brings you joy, a life that allows you to grow into the person you were meant to be. So stand tall, know your worth, set those boundaries, and don't apologize for them. You are worthy of love, respect, and genuine care. And don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. And let me tell you something else. It's okay to say no. It's okay to put yourself first. You don't have to feel guilty about it. You don't have to apologize for wanting to take care of yourself. If someone is trying to use you, you have every right to set boundaries. You have every right to say, I'm sorry, but I can't help you this time. That's not selfish. That's self-care. Taking care of yourself isn't just a luxury. It's a necessity. And it's something we all need to make time for. When you start to establish those boundaries, you'll be amazed at how much stronger you feel. You'll find that you have more energy for the people and the projects that truly matter to you. You'll be able to invest your time and resources into those relationships that enrich your life instead of depleting it. When you're not constantly bending over backward to meet everyone else's needs, you're able to put yourself first and to pursue the things that bring you fulfillment. You're finally able to focus on the things that truly light you up inside. And let's be clear, established doesn't mean you have to be cold or unkind. It simply means you're choosing to take care of yourself. You can still be compassionate while being firm. You can still be generous while protecting your own interests. It's a delicate balance, but it's one you can master. So you can be kind without being a doormat. You can lend a helping a constant crutch. There's strength in knowing where to draw the line and courage in standing by it. And that's what we're talking about here. Not building walls, but setting boundaries, drawing lines to protect your peace, your energy, and your spirit. Now, I want to emphasize something very important. You are not responsible for anyone else's happiness. That's not your job. It's not your duty to make others feel good at the expense of your own well-being. Your happiness comes from within. You need to find what brings you joy and go after that. If someone else's happiness depends on you being there to support them 24/7, that's a problem. You need to let them figure it out on their own, because here's the thing. If you're constantly giving and giving, there's going to be a point where you have nothing left for yourself. And that's not fair to you. This is your life, and you've got to take control of it. You can't let others dictate how you spend your time, how you feel about yourself, or how you pursue your dreams. You're the captain of your ship, and you've got to steer it in the direction that you want to go. The minute you let someone else take the wheel, you've lost control of your life. And once you start down that road, it's hard to find your way back. But let's not stop there. Let's take this a step further. I want you to understand the power of your voice. Your voice matters. Your opinion matters. When you speak up and say, hey, this isn't working for me, you're taking a stand for yourself. You're declaring that you won't be used and that you won't allow others to take advantage of your kindness. It's about letting people know that you value yourself enough to expect the same respect in return. And when you start to use your voice, people will listen. They might not always like what you have to say, but they'll respect you for saying it. We live in a world where everyone's always pushing for more and more of your time, more of attention, more of your energy. But remember, your time and energy are limited. You only have so much to give. So when you spend your time on things or people that don't respect you or value you, that's time you'll never get back. It's like pouring water into a cup with a hole in the bottom. No matter how much you pour, it'll never fill up. And eventually you're left with nothing. Think about what it feels like to be constantly drained, constantly stretched thin. It's exhausting, isn't it? But when you start to say no, when you start to set those boundaries, suddenly you're no longer running on empty. You're saving your energy for things that truly matter to you. You're giving yourself the space to grow, to recharge, to be the best version of yourself. It's also important to recognize the difference between helping someone and enabling them. When you're constantly there to rescue someone, they don't learn to stand on their own 2 feet. They become dependent on you and you become drained by them. You're not doing them any favors and you're not doing yourself any either. Sometimes the best thing you can do for someone is to let them figure things out on their own. Because as much as you might want to help, people have to want to help themselves. When you say no to others, you're saying yes to yourself. You're saying yes to your peace, your sanity, your well-being. And that's a powerful thing. It's not about shutting people out. It's about letting the right people in. It's about surrounding yourself with those who appreciate you for who you are, who respect your boundaries and who value the energy you bring into their lives. Those are the relationships worth nurturing, worth investing in. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, well, if I start setting boundaries, I'll lose people. And you might be right, but ask yourself this. If setting boundaries means losing someone, were they really there for you in the first place? Were they in your life because of who you are or because of what they can get from you? Setting boundaries has a way of showing you who's truly in your corner and who's just there for their own gain. It's a filter that reveals people's true intentions. The people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. They won't push you beyond your limits. They won't make you feel guilty for taking care of yourself. They'll understand that your well-being is just as important as theirs. They'll respect and know just as much as they respect the yes. Those are the people who are worth your time and energy. Those are the people who deserve a place in your life. But for the ones who resist, who try to make you feel guilty, who can't accept that you have limits, those are the people you need to distance yourself from, because if someone truly values you, they won't want to drain you. They won't want to take more than you can give. They'll recognize that a relationship is about give and take, about mutual respect and understanding. So don't be afraid to draw that line in the sand. Don't be afraid to protect your peace, your energy, your happiness. Because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with the consequences of letting people take advantage of you. You're the one who has to face the exhaustion, the burnout, the disappointment, and that's no way to live. Imagine how it feels when you're surrounded by people who lift you up instead of dragging you down. People who encourage you to be your best self, who respect your boundaries, who appreciate your presence. That's the kind of life you deserve. That's the kind of life that allows you to thrive, to reach your full potential, to find true happiness. And it starts with saying no, with setting boundaries, with valuing yourself enough to demand the respect you deserve. Self-care isn't just about taking bubble baths or meditating. It's about making choices that prioritize your well-being, even if those choices are unpopular. It's about respecting yourself enough to say, I deserve better. And you deserve relationships that are based on mutual respect. You deserve to have your voice heard, to have your boundaries respected, to have your time valued. So don't let anyone make you feel guilty for taking care of yourself. Don't let anyone make you feel small for setting boundaries. You have every right to protect your peace, your energy, your happiness. You have every right to choose who gets to be a part of your life and who doesn't. And when you do that, when you start to live for yourself, instead of living to please others, you'll find a freedom you never knew existed. Remember, this is your life. You only get one, and it's up to you how you spend it. Don't waste it on people who don't see your worth. Don't waste it on relationships that drain you. Don't waste it living up to someone else's expectations. Live for you. Set your boundaries. Speak your truth. And don't apologize for it, because at the end of the day, you're the one who has to live with the choices you make. So make choices that bring you peace, that bring you joy, that bring you clarity.
Hey everyone, Dailykeymotivation 2024. Today speak, open your and heart only to find them closed off. That kind of trend-made hearts of expression when you're giving personal, you want to trust, to help, to lift others up. But sometimes that kindness is takes advantage of. So ask yourself, how much of yourself have you given to people who don't truly see your worth? How often have you poured out your time and energy only to feel empty afterward? This is your wake up call. It's time to set boundaries, understand your own value, and stop letting people treat you like an option. This is about regulation, the power your brain, seeing your worth and not setting for anyone who can appreciate it. Your worth more than begin someone's combination. This is you about being selfish. It's about self-respect. We live in a world where people often take without giving back, sometimes without realizing